because I know they're asking 10,000 down since it is. So I really didn't want to waste no time. I wanted to see what you guys had to say about that.
Yeah, no worries. Appreciate you asking. It's always good to ask first, and then go about your business later. Because you don't want to. That's the, I guess, one thing that people don't want to do. You don't want to call and don't know what you're talking about in a sense. You don't want to do that. But yeah, good question regardless. Any other questions or anything else you guys are working on in your markets or me or Eric's market? Again, you could always partner with us. And I think Eric touched base on that yesterday. We have our two markets in the Florida area and then also in the Pennsylvania area. So for anyone who wants to try to secure their first deal or first few deals, that's a good tool for you guys to learn because or to use because obviously we have our buyers list that's a pretty decent size. And if you and we'd also help you guys out too with negotiating with either the agent or the seller directly. My last deal I helped somebody from the Discord was we closed I think it was the end of September, and that was a deal in Tampa. And we just had I'll share my screen and talk about the deal real quick. Um, but it was an on market deal. It was in Tampa. It was a duplex. Um, Obviously they were higher than where we needed to be price wise. So this is the deal that was here, 1415 East Holland Avenue. It was a 2 bedroom, one on each side. I know that just says the one, but it was actually a 4-2. But anyway, it was on market. I think it was on market for 299 at the time when the guy from Discord brought it over to me. So it was on the market for 299. So this was like when we were pending here. They were pending before at a higher price, but I guess that buyer fell through. But anyway, I told him he had to be at 250 or 255. And my buyer Nick, he came back at 250. So then I had to tell the Discord guys, so we had to go lower. He wanted me to make the call to drop him. This first time me talking to the agent. Never talked to his name is Jim. Never talked to Jim prior, so like I had to come in as his the Discord guy's partner and say, hey, like we're buying the property. We just we're looking at it, rerunning the numbers, blah blah blah, and we have to be at 235. Mind you, our buyer was at 250, so we had to basically we were at that pretty much we were locked the property up at where our buyer was at, so dropped them to 235. That's why you see that price here. And we sent wholesaled it to Nick, which was the buyer. But then we were all good to go. So that was, I think, when did we close that one? That one was the 30th, yeah, end of September. Yes, that was pretty much it. I mean, it was that situation was like a tired landlord type of situation. So, it was an older seller. She had the property for quite some time. I think it looked like what 9 years. Okay, she's owned it since 9 years. So she got it back in 2015 here. And then yeah, so she sold it to Nick, and then Nick changed it made his name into an LLC. So Ivy Moon is his LLC, and that's what he's using it since the end of September. But yeah, that was an on market deal. So I mean, it is sometimes a lot more hoops to jump through when on market deals, but you're still able to. I mean, this is not the first on market deal I've ever done before. I mainly focus off market because I like talking directly to a seller. I don't have to deal with all the agent, nonsense from time to time. So, but yeah, I mean, on market deals, guys. I mean, it was a good as well because the guy, they've had it pending twice before us, so it's like they've already so I guess they already been beat up a little bit already. So it's not like so when you call on market deals that are like just listed, sometimes it might, might not go your way. You might have to wait a little bit, and then they come to a realization. It's like, okay, maybe this property won't sell for 309. Ended up selling for 235, but still. But yeah, able to make a decent assignment fee. He was happy and everything. So, but yeah, that was just again an example of one situation. But yeah, anything, if it's in Tampa, if it's in St. Pete, I mean, we have our whole list of cities, that we cover. Any questions? And right now too, if you're focusing on our area of Florida, there are some homes with flood damage from the recent storms. So I just got to be mindful of that. Some areas are selling for pennies on the dollar. Our buyers are still buying, but just gotta, you gotta, instead of doing, if it's been flooded and you're in, like, again, it's a part of Florida that we cover and it's been flooded. I would say instead of like a 0.7 or 0.75, you would want to do a 0.6 or like a 0.65. So times that by whatever ARV you get. So let's say the ARV is 400,000, times it by 0.6. So let's do the math for you guys now. So yeah, 400,000 times that by 0.6, that brings us to 240. And then whatever that repair cost is. Let's say if it's like a 1,000 square foot house, it probably needs about maybe 60 to be renovated again, and then that will be your offer price. Because 0.75 is not really work for anything flooded. I mean, I know from experience. I had to help somebody from Discord, and we had he had the contract for 360. We were trying to move it for 390. But it was in Shore Acres, and Shore Acres got flooded really bad. There was probably about 2 feet of water in the home at one point in time from Milton. And if this was 2 months ago or 3 months ago, that would have been a good deal, because the value when it's renovated, it was going to be like close to like 680, 685, and we had it for 360. So 2 months ago, 3 months ago, that was a great deal. But at that point in time, I was getting offers for just under 250. So, that's, again, it's just, kind of pretty much most homes are going in that area. Most homes are going for like land value. And really, again, just selling pennies on the dollar. But there are people buying, but it's a risk. I mean, people don't know, like, the insurance rates are going up. People, let's say families aren't trying to go through what other families go through, so they're not really looking that way. So it's more of a gamble for an investor to take that property on. So that's why they want to make sure that they're not, I guess, don't bite more, don't bite more than they can chew. So yeah. Let's see a few questions in here. Yeah. So okay, there's an example. Newport Richey, so a little bit north from where I'm at on the map. Let's say let's zoom out here. But yeah, Newport Richey. It's more north of where I'm at. I mean, his ARV was 500. He was asking 275, and buyer ended up paying 250 for it. So, you had to go back and negotiate. So you thought you had a deal at first. But then, ended up, again, they just had to be lower because of X, Y, and Z. Assuming that, that area was flooded in that Newport Richey area. Let's see.
Hey, what's going on, Terrell? I just want to, better than typing it. Yeah, so it was flooded. It was a private dock, access to the water with pool.
Yeah.
So I had to basically, at least the seller signed yesterday. I mean, I gave her a couple of days. We got her to drop the price. Like, it was locked in at 240.
Yeah.
To get more of a spread, we got to renegotiate it at 230.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. And it's just like, and if you did probably the 0.6 or 0.65 of that ARV, that would have been right where you needed to be. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that the seller was able to be willing to come down some more, and then obviously you guys are closing in what, like 4 weeks, so that's good.
I know. And to me, I was kind of like concerned finding a buyer because I already had my experience. Treasure Island, like I was able to lock, found a listing. Like after I saw Eric's video live, I got pumped. I went back to Treasure Island, got a 1.4 drop to 700,000, and I couldn't even get anybody locked in.
Yeah,
But it
no,
was like the first weeks, and that was like 50 cents on the dollar. I just couldn't believe nobody wanted to take it.
yeah, I know. It's right, yeah, those places, like I said, Treasure Island, Madeira Beach, St. Pete Beach, Shore Acres. I've noticed areas of Town and Country as well. Like everything that's been severely impacted by the storm, like people are just like not hitting the pause button, you know. Like I was like, I don't know if I want to own something right by the beach. I don't know if I want to be in this flood zone here. I'd rather be in a flood zone X and not have to worry about anything. Like there's a lot of variables that people, 2, 3 months ago weren't even thinking of back then, but now they are, really, because they've seen, all the losses that people have taken. I mean, I live right by Treasure, like probably about 15 minutes from Treasure Island, so like I've seen everything, everyone's whole like house out on the street, so it's been a wake up call to homeowners and also investors who are trying to pursue any opportunity there.
Yeah, man. Well, anyways, I do have a buyer, two buyers that are actually really actively looking now. So if
Okay.
anybody finds anything by the water under 650, because I know that was kind of like tricky finding somebody that really wants to buy something, but it looks like people are starting to make some moves. So what's
Yeah.
your thought on that?
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. I mean, my last try, I guess stint at trying to have somebody buy something in a flood zone didn't go so well, and I was just explaining, it was in Shore Acres about like a month ago. From someone from the Discord brought it over to me, and we couldn't make it happen, and then they ended up going it with an agent. I'm not sure if they were able to move it yet. I would have to check the address and see if they were able to move it or if it's pending or whatever the case may be. But because we came back trying to be pretty much where our buyer was, they didn't want to go any lower than we were at. So they just decided to go with an agent. So I mean, you win some, you lose some. I mean, the big four-letter word in real estate is next. So just on to the next one. But yeah, most recently, I found something that was right by my house that was not in the flood zone. And I was able to move that the same day. So, I mean, if it's not in the flood zone, that's what people are kind of looking for, but still there are other people that, are okay with being in a flood zone. It just has to be at a significantly lower price to
Where,
be.
where, where are you mainly buying? Like, where are you mainly holding it? If I get something, I'll be more than happy to send it your way. And I don't like to waste people's time, so I always run the numbers and
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's, I mean,
the people.
I live like kind of by Madeira Beach, so like I'm over this area. So like, if you find something like, I would say like, in Seminole area, like Bardmore area, like anything. Let me see if I could draw right. Like, I would just want to be close. I want to be like somewhere. Why isn't this working? Is
I
it
have a
working?
good idea. Yeah, I can see. I
Yeah, yeah,
see.
so, like, yeah. So
Well,
maybe Kenneth City a little bit too.
it's crazy
Um,
because I just started on that peak right there in that corner, and then I just kind of backed out and I went, further into the like,
further
the
inland, right?
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, so like anything, I don't want to look at anything. I mean, if it's for someone else, then yeah, you could show it over to me if you don't have anybody. But like for me personally, I want to be more inland, Seminole, Bardmore, Kenneth City. Like I want to be close, like not like not more than like a 15-20 minute drive, because I'll be taking that on for myself. I don't want to be having to drive all the way to Tampa for something that I want. Oh, Largo too. I'll go all the way up to Largo. Pinellas, yeah,
Where can I you mind dropping your email or where I could send you anything that I get? Trust me, I won't blow you up. Just
yeah, yeah, no, I got you. I'm just putting in the chat right here. TSBD Investments LLC at Gmail. Yeah, so for anyone else, if they, I'm looking, but obviously, has to be a good deal. Has to fit my criteria. Preferably, I would want a block home. I don't want to deal with a wood frame. Unless it's, if it's a good deal, then I'll put up with it. But I would ideally want a block home. You know, could be 2 bedroom, 1 bath, could be a 3-1. As long as if the numbers make sense. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have a discrepancy on the age of the house. Again, it just all depends on how much one is asking for it. All right, that's pretty much. Any other questions, guys? Anything else you guys got going on in your market or me or Eric's market?
Quick question. What happens if you have a buyer and they want to do financing?
I mean, if you already got the deal locked up, most of the times it's already locked up for cash. Especially when I look at my deals, I mean, they're always for cash. So like, I tell them like, no, seller financing isn't available on this one. Like that's what I would tell them. Unless you already locked up a deal that is, creative finance, then yeah, that's fine. But if it's a deal that you already locked up, that's, it's just a cash transaction. I mean, seller financing won't work. And you just have to explain that to them. So if you have like a certain buyer that only wants creative finance deals, I mean, it might be, if you want to be proactive, you could look for some creative finance deals. But most of the times it's just, from my experience, seller just wants to be done with the property. They're not really looking to hold a note. Depends on how many years. And usually what the buyer wants is like, a decent amount of years and all that kind of, all those types of things. So, which might not always fit into a seller's need. So it's kind of hard to work those ones. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that helps. For me, I mean, I only wholesale properties. So I don't do anything creative. I mean, I try creative if wholesale doesn't work, but I go with the nature of asking, to do for a wholesale deal from the start. If wholesale doesn't work, then I go creative. If creative doesn't work, then I just have one of my buddies list it. Let's say if it's in Florida, I have one of my buddies that's an agent who's also does flips, list the property for me, and we work it that way. That's kind of like, the model that Eric did when I was working for Eric, back in 2021. So we just wholesale, then creative, then list. Any other questions, guys?
One more question. How
Yeah.
about if there's something out of your zone? Although I understand you don't have sellers, but if I come with my seller, are you guys willing to partner up? Because I have a few nice listings, but I'm from New Jersey, and down here the houses go up to $500,000.
I don't have any buyers that buy in Jersey. So like if it's in PA, if it's in our area of PA, if it's in our area of Tampa Bay, I could help you find a buyer. But we're like, if it's not, I mean, I can still help you like do what you need to do, like maybe talking the seller down, that type of thing. But regarding finding somebody for you, I mean, the only thing I could really do is just give you could lead you in the right direction with like, hey, join this group in Jersey, investor group in Jersey. Maybe you can find somebody there. Did you try calling the recent comps in the area? Those agents are representing those flippers who flipped the home. Maybe you could try calling. I just give you the tools to try to help you find somebody. But me personally, like, I mean, I know some of my buyers, by their first name, like that. I know what they're kind of looking for. I can't be like, oh, I know my buddy Dan buys this type of home in Jersey. Like I don't have that luxury to try to help you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But my question was, if I find the buyer, you guys have no, like, you guys don't mind helping me make the deal.
Oh yeah. If you find the buyer, yeah. I mean, I could tell you, I've done
Like, we
that.
can still partner up, right?
Yeah. If you want, well, Yeah, we could. Yeah, what would you? I mean, at that point in time, if if you're in contract with the seller, and you find your own buyer, I mean, that if it's like a direct to seller type of deal, if there's no agent involved, you're only sending two agreements to the title company. So I mean, I could help you find a title company if you don't have one already. I could, you already have that. You already have this if at that point in time, if you found a buyer, that means you already had an agreement signed between you and the seller. You just have to have an assignment signed between you and the buyer, and then send both those agreements over to the title company, and then that's pretty much it. You just let the title company handle that. Make sure that the buyer puts down whatever that earnest money is. It could be 2 grand, could be 5 grand. But after that, I mean, that's pretty much left in the title company's hands. You might want to, I can tell you, if we partner together, like I'll make sure, I call like a week in advance before closing to make sure that the title company has everything. So there's not like, let's say, for example, we have closing next week Wednesday. So like I'll probably call like maybe tomorrow or Friday to make sure like, hey, do you guys have everything for closing next Wednesday? That's about it. And then obviously, they'll say yeah, everything's good if that's the case. And then also too, they'll ask if you prefer like a wire or a check, that type of thing. But yeah, pretty much when you get it to the title company's hands, I mean they take it from there.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Good question. Good question. Any other questions, guys? Mm-mm-mm. Anything else you guys got going on? Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. And also too, guys, I mean, I found my past few deals just by driving around to where I wasn't like really specifically driving for dollars, but I was just driving places and I ended up, finding houses that were pretty much in, that distressed state, overgrown grass, boarded up window, that type of thing. So, you'd always skip trace, call them and see, what they are trying to do, if they are trying to do anything. I found a for rent sign earlier this week, so I didn't call on Monday, but I'll call today and be like, hey, like, I saw your for rent sign. My name's Terrell. Are you open to possibly selling it? Are you more in focused on trying to actually get it rented out? So I'll call. That'll be probably the conversation I have with the seller and see what they want to do. So it's always good that you could call for sale by owner signs. You could call for rent signs. Properties that seem distressed, you could call them. Just skip trace, call them, see what's up. They're most of those types of situations. I mean, if they have a sign out on their front door like that, I mean, they're not, it's not listed with any agent, so you don't have to worry about having to go around the gatekeeper, that type of thing, because sometimes it's hard to have a good conversation with somebody when you're talking to their agent, so sometimes it is, but sometimes you get those agents that's just like, oh yeah, I'll tell him, but he's not gonna, I don't know, but yeah. So just try to, if you're going anywhere, it could be to like, I don't know, like a gas station or whatever, or maybe whatever, I don't know, just drive wherever you're going to. I mean, just try to make sure your phone's on you, and maybe you can pin it on your maps, and then call them up afterwards after you skip trace it and see if they want to do anything. Any other questions, guys? No, nothing.
I'm just curious. Are you cold calling or I just heard you say you're doing driving for dollars. Is that
Yeah.
something?
So sometimes I would cold call. I don't really specifically drive for dollars. It's not like I say like, oh, I'm gonna spend an hour driving for dollars. No, if I'm going somewhere to it could be somewhere I went before. Maybe you can take a different route, go into this neighborhood and just check and see real quick. But yeah, I would, pin it on my phone, write the address down on my notes or whatever. And then I'll, when I get back home, it could be that same day, it could be a day or two later, I'll call them and see, if they are open to selling. And you'll be surprised. I mean, sometimes you get yeses, sometimes you get, most times it's no's, obviously, but sometimes you get those yeses and yeah.
What do you think on that using an app for like virtual driving for dollar? Like
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Google image, obviously.
PropStream has like a feature. I mean, that's the will be the only one I've had experience doing.
What do you think of that? I was doing it. I mean, I've been doing it for a little bit now. I mean, I haven't done it in the past couple of days, but I use like Deal Machine. Deal Machine has that feature as well.
Okay, I had never used Deal Machine before.
Yeah.
I just used PropStream. PropStream is good, and it's decent. Can't really I can't compare it to anything else because I obviously haven't used anything else. But yeah, I mean, it's it gets the job done. Regardless. Let's see, but no, good question.
Yeah, what software are you using for the text marketing? Like, because I'm to add that now.
It's called Dial My
I do.
Call.
I'm doing text marketing. I did a lot of cold call. Like, oh my God, I did a lot of cold call, and I was just like, it took
Yeah.
so much energy out of me.
Yeah, no, I got you. I don't do any text blasting. I mean, unless it's like for a deal I have, and if that's the case, then I use Dial My Calls. You could send like 2,000 I think it's like $80 or $90 a month. And you could send like 2,000. You have like 2,000 credits or 3,000 credits, and every contact is a credit. So let's say if you have like 500, buyers, then 500 credits will be used. If you add a picture, then it's another one credit. So then it'll be each contact is two if you're sending a text and a picture to go with that text. So instead of 500, it will be 1,000. You don't have to send a picture. Sometimes people do, but
So
but yeah.
the best approach is cold calling. Then I mean, that's
Well, I mean, there are text blasts. I mean, I know Eric used to use Sherpa back in the day. So there's that. I don't know. I think it's kind of pricey. I don't know the pricing off the top of my head, but that's what he used for text blasting. And then you could have, you could connect with all those, those sellers, via that text, the website, or again, they could just. I think it was just only the website. I never used it personally. I know he used it. I think that I think it's like leadsherpa.com or something. And that's what he would use. And then after he gets some, I guess, a decent response from the seller, that when they answered, hey, are you open to selling, blah blah blah, if it's like a good conversation, then he'll pass the lead on to, like, let's say me or someone else that was in the team.
Yeah, that's the kind of model I'm doing right now. It is working really well. I mean, I'm able to convert them from like, yes, I'm the owner, to like, okay, great, I have available, and I set a time the next like 20 minutes, and they say yes, or sometimes they say no tomorrow. And that's how I was, one deal I'm actually, I got it locked in just like that from a code violation list. But now I was using Vumber, and Vumber is like super cheap, man. It's like $40 a month. And but that's it. It's over, man. The game is over with that, because today basically they already cut my text messages. I can see people texting me, but I can't text them.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, damn, okay. So before it's gotta look into the text messaging software, because I know it works.
Yeah.
And again, I got deals right now on escrow from that. So
there you go. Yeah, it's just gotta adjust with the curveballs sometimes, so you'll be able to find another platform that is able to suit your needs and stuff like that. So hopefully,
yes, this is why I'm asking the question, because I'm like, damn, I got a curveball, and I need to now should I go on Zillow? Should I go on Zillow? Because I mean, these are obviously
off
lists
market.
that I build. Like these are lists that I built, and these are data. So you don't want to definitely hand out these.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hear you. Let's see here. I mean, I could always, go the VA route. I mean, there's that too. But I mean, I don't have any experience with that. I know Eric has. There are, some VAs. Most VAs people use are like from like the Philippines or whatever. But there are some VAs that like are in different locations where it's like less of an accent. So you could always look that route. And hope for the best. At the same time, you got to hope that they say what you would want them to say, what you would like them to say, and then they're able to convert those types of leads for you. But yeah, so you could always look that route as well.
Yeah. Get your feedback,
Sean,
man. Yeah.
yeah, appreciate it. Let's see, Sean, what's the best way to find a good attorney in Georgia? I don't even know. I never done any deals in Georgia. I'm not sure. I guess Georgia is I'm assuming Georgia is like an attorney state. Best way? That is a good question. I don't know what would be the best way. The only thing you could really do is, if you're in any Facebook real estate investor groups in Georgia, let's say Atlanta area, let's say there's like Atlanta real estate investment group, you join that. You could ask when you get obviously you got to get approved first. I mean, they're just going to ask you like maybe like one or two questions. Then you might get approved the next day in the group of like, 5,000 people, 5,000 like-minded individuals that are in real estate. You could be like, hey guys, what's the best, you guys have any good attorneys down here in Atlanta? And then see what they say. That's honestly the best way, in my opinion. Just joining a Facebook group, let's say in that specific market. After you joining the Facebook group, you just ask that question. I mean, that's how you would build your buyers list too. Like, hey, any buyers in this zip code in Georgia? Any cash buyers, and then you'll get a whole bunch of responses. So same, for anything really. So everyone's looking to help each other out. That sort of thing. And with me joining groups, I mean, it's always been like that. You have those few people that are like, that comment under those posts that are people trying to sell their deals like, oh, that's way too high. Like, there's no one that would ever pay that price, that type of thing. But other than that, I mean, everyone's pretty much trying to help each other out with information. So you could always do that. iPhone, you have a deal in West Florida. Let's see. Never even heard of this city, Rotonda, West Florida. All right. Let's see. Any what iPhone? I don't know if you did you have a conversation with the agent? Like, what's the situation?
No, I just found the property yesterday. I'm still trying to get a hold of the agent. I was talking to Eric about this property yesterday as well. He tried to call him like 3 times. He's still going to pick up, but I think they bought the property for 440, and now they just reduced it down to 400. So they're kind of underwater a little bit.
Yeah.
So it could be a potential good, like a short sale type of deal, sub 2.
Yeah.
It's right on the golf course, an 18-hole golf course, in-ground pool, screened in. And also all the furniture that you see in the property comes with it.
Okay.
So this is turnkey, ready to go.
Gotcha. You just haven't had a chance to speak to the agent. Okay.
So I know they bought it for 440. I just didn't know if they had a mortgage or how high their mortgage was on it. I don't know. Maybe they just bought it outright. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll look real quick. Okay, so it says the owner here is it's in an LLC, El Reina Remodeling LLC. That's the owner, one name. Lender name. They got a loan amount for 330. On May 16th, 2022, conventional loan. Yellow Mortgage is the lender. Yellow Mortgage LLC. Just that one open mortgage.
So is usually that estimated loan payment, is that usually pretty accurate, like the 1,800?
it's like a hit or miss. I mean, it's like not it's never been like significantly wrong. It's just an estimate. I mean, I mean, I can't really. I don't know if it's going to be 300 off. I'm not sure if it's going to be 500 off. It's hard to say.
Yeah, because I was looking up the rentals. I mean, basically, what it came back with was like 2,500. But
Okay.
I mean, you might be able to get a little bit more than that if you do kind of like an Airbnb because it's right on a golf course. I mean, people would just fly down and stay for a week and play golf literally every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you might be able to get a little bit more than that.
Yeah, possibly. I just yeah, I mean the only way to really confirm that is if you talk to the seller or I guess not really not the seller at this point, the agent. And that's pretty much the only way we could find out if they you know if I call them or if you call them and if they answer and then we could have a conversation. Um, but yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess they bid a little bit more than could chew. They over. I mean, I
I
don't
mean,
know why.
they do have a little bit of obviously a little equity in there, but
Yeah,
it might be like right on that line because I mean you don't want to give them $100,000 down payment or anything like that, but if you get away with giving them maybe like 20, you give them like a $20,000 down payment.
yeah, you could.
And you maybe just put the property in like a trust and then just buy the trust and control it that way.
Yeah. Let me see here. Um, you just needed information on it. You want me to call? Like, you still want me to try to call, or you want to try to call, or like?
But yeah, I mean, if you want to call, I mean, I haven't gotten a hold of him, so it'd just be like a cold call, basically. I don't know. I mean, yeah, give it a shot. See if he actually picks up.
Yeah,
Oh, look at that. My God, they don't know what else to come up with, but it's a good one. And they make him look so like the real character.
hold on.
How the fuck they pick these people? Like it's like they breed them. Like they.
Okay. Moses 77 458 62. All right, let's see. Hopefully, this guy answers. I wonder why they paid so much back then. Hello?
Please wait to connect to voicemail. Please leave your message for 72.
Yeah, the guy I mean, I could try again, but he forwarded me on like the second ring. I guess he didn't send a text out. That I just was forwarded. If you could hear me on the second ring.
This property this property might be worth skip tracing because this guy he just doesn't pick up his phone.
Yeah, if you want, you could obviously, you could use tree people search, and skip traces that way. Just put it might be, well, actually, hold on. Well, because I know it's in an LLC, so, see, go to Sunbiz.
That's where the lead chipper works, right? On the LLCs.
You just go to sunbiz.org, type in the LLC for anything that's, I guess this LLC wasn't created in Florida, so it might be different.
He's in South Carolina.
Okay, so I would have to look up like the LLC thing in South Carolina and then type in, yeah, so just look that up in South Carolina. I mean, everyone, PA has one, Florida has, you got to look that up. And then since it was created in South Carolina, just typing in that LLC, El Reina Remodeling LLC. I mean, we have a mailing address here. I mean, you could always just copy that. And then maybe try copying let me see if there's any. Let me go to link properties. He might have it in his actual. No, probably not. I mean, there's different. So there's like El Reina, and then there's Oceanfront, and then there's George Ditzler. It's like a whole bunch of owner names, but they all go back to the Myrtle Beach thing.
Was that doesn't Lead Sherpa do the LLC?
I'm not sure. I don't have Lead Sherpa. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah. I was just talking earlier. I was just talking about Lead Sherpa because that's what Eric used back in the day. I don't think Eric has it to this date anymore. To my knowledge, I don't think he's subscribes to it any longer or pays for it any longer. But yeah, I mean, so
All right. I mean, I'll do my own due diligence and try to track this guy down.
alrighty.
Thank you.
Yep, sounds good. It's always annoying when the agents don't answer. I mean, and then they don't send a text. Unless you spam call them and hopefully they answer, but it's always a difficult situation. You don't response because how are you going to sell a property for yourself if you don't answer?
I know.
And
I'd be so upset. I'm trying to sell a $400,000 property, and the agents can't even pick up their phone. It's
You
crazy.
know, it'll be always nice if you could just like have have the seller on the line and say, hey, look, like I tried reaching this guy. He's like, oh no, he's always answering his phones. All right, let's do it three-way then. And then as I call him, immediately gets forwarded. He's like, you see what I mean? So you trust this guy selling this house for you? But yeah, any questions, guys? Any other questions you guys have? We got a few more minutes here. Got like 15, 20 minutes. Anything you guys are working in your market or any questions do you guys have? No question's a bad question. We're all pretty much trying to make it here in this real estate game. For anyone who's starting out new, if you're looking to let's say wholesale, for example, I mean, it's always good to start in your market so you can kind of understand, the home value, I mean, let's say like hopefully you're not in like New York or California, anywhere it's like really crazy, but for the most part, let's say if you're in like I don't know, this guy was in Myrtle Beach, let's say Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You could try with that, type in on Google, investor in the keywords, or you could type let me show you guys here. Investor, you could type in, TLC, fixer upper. You could type those types of things in.
I got a question for you, Terrell.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, with the new law coming into effect in PA for no wholesaling, are you getting a license? What are you doing?
So I'm just gonna be double closing. So like I'll just so I'm like you could still wholesale because you can never truly get rid of wholesale. You still wholesale, you just have to double close.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do. But how much more of a discount are you putting on there for the double closed room, like in your area?
I haven't really thought about that yet. I haven't gotten in PA. I mean, the last deal I think I did in PA was, I want to say June. Everything else has been in Florida. Sometimes I kind of pick and choose. I mean, I've been working a few leads in PA, but nothing, obviously to the closing table. Either too high in price or the seller's not ready, that type of situation, or just, right now it's going to be like, no matter what, I mean, most people are going to start thinking holiday season soon here. So it's going to be a little difficult to find, in my 3 years of experience, once Thanksgiving, once it's like right by Thanksgiving, Christmas time, I mean, that's when stuff die out and doesn't really start back up again, like until like the third week of January. So it's like right now we're going to be approaching our slow weeks. But regardless, I mean, obviously still trying and see if we can make something happen. And, but yeah, I mean, you have to take a little bit of a haircut with the double close. I didn't think they'll ever, PA would be one of those the states to convert into getting rid of the, assignment fee. But, here we are. So come January 1st, 2025, and that's when they'll start incorporating everything.
Yeah, I know. I know Philly actually, was it the beginning of this year or last year? They went to wholesalers had to get a wholesaling license.
Yeah, I guess it was like really bad in Philly. I don't know. I never touched that market, but I am in part of a PA investment group, and I've seen a lot of stuff in like even like there's a whole bunch of I don't know. It's like it's really I don't know. There's a lot of activity like that going on in that area of Pennsylvania and in the Philly area. But like once you get to the Pocono, I mean, it's not even that bad in the Poconos. That's why like I guess Eric did so well. That's why I did decent. I wish I started when Eric started, but like it was just an untapped market, And then same with the Lehigh Valley area, and then obviously COVID happened and kind of died a little bit, but then it's kind of blowing back up. Because people are realizing, those homes back then were like, when Eric was starting, I mean, those homes were going for like 50K, 60K. Now they're 4 years later, those same homes are like being sold, as is for like 250. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I'm kind of like on the fence of just going and getting my license because it's so cheap and so easy to get.
yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, you can. I mean, nothing's stopping you. Me personally, I mean, I have no need. I mean, you just gotta just just go roll with the punches. Just double close. I mean, let's say you won't be making a 10,000 assignment fee anymore. You'll be making like a 7,000. So it's 7, 8,000. So it's not the end of the world. But obviously, you want to or you just put the property in a trust. You put the property in a trust and then sell
Yeah, you could do it that way too. Yeah, put it on trust, sell the trust.
Yeah, and then you make your full thing. Just put the property, like let's say 123 Main Street, just do 123 Main Street Trust, and then just sell the
Yeah.
trust. So
Yeah, for me, I actually hit both direct to seller and MLS, and I find that I'm actually working on 2 licenses, or I'm actually going to be going 3: Vegas, Florida, and PA, because I live in PA. But
Okay.
I find it that the agents are way more forgiving when you tell them that you have a license. Maybe you don't even have to have it in the area. Usually I tell them, yeah, I'm licensed, but not in your area.
Mhm.
And then it's a whole different world of a conversation from that point on, because then it's kind of like, you have that little bit of rapport with them already off the bat.
Common ground, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I never noticed that because I don't have my thing. I mean, usually for me, it's like, unless I'm like, I mean, I don't know. There are some agents that I mean, when I don't really call agents all the time, but when I do, like, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's how I present myself when I call them. Like, they don't always, they aren't always like on the fence or like, quick to shut me down. I'm always nice about it. Like, if it doesn't work out price wise, it doesn't work out price wise. Like, hey, look, I mean, looks like that we might not be able to, do any potential, we won't be able to help each other out. Like, do you have anything else that you plan on listing? And you just, kind of just change the conversation. And then, it can, I mean, I've had agents who reach out to me sometimes, like for there's this one guy, Scott. We tried doing a deal together like 2 times already, and it didn't work out. One because of the seller, because with the whole solar issue, because that loan was that she had was like ridiculous, and there's another one that was just like overly priced. But then he still calls me or sends me a text like, hey, I got something else that might fit your need. And I never done business, but it's always that rapport that I never met him in person either, but that rapport. And then they have, again, you have him reaching out, to try to potentially do an off-market transaction, which was always nice.
Yeah, they're more prone to bring the deal to you too once you get some work done with them, and they'll come back over to you, and you don't even have to ask them really in the future. Be like, hey, what do you have anything? They just know that you locked a couple of deals already with them. They'll bring it to you and be like, hey, help me close this one at the hoarder house or whatever.
Exactly. Let's see here. Any other?
I just wanted to know where you were going with that.
No, that's a great question, Eddie. Great question. Yeah, I mean, until I find a need to, I mean, I just don't want, because I don't know, there's a whole bunch of like rules and regulation. I rather just do what I want, not to worry about anything. I'm my own boss, so there's that. I've been working for myself for I would say about 2 years now, working with Eric. I started in 2021, obviously learned what I could with Eric for a year, and then we went our separate ways. But I mean, obviously I still reach out if I have any other questions, any things that I struggle on or whatever, just call them up. We talk about it, or we just play some golf and talk about what we've got going on with, in our own lives and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I've been working for myself for the 2 years now, and it's been good. obviously able to keep the lights on, keep food on, food on the table. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I know where you're coming from with the rules and regulations,
yeah,
and honestly, if you go up to the broker, because you have a choice of either doing 1099 with the broker or going under if they offer that at the broker's office, going under their payroll. So
yeah,
if you 1099, you don't even have to really worry about the broker or doing any legal stuff. You can just go to the homeowner and be like, hey, I could either represent you, the seller, or represent my buyer. Here's my action steps with you as representing the seller, and then you got to act like the agent, and then you can take them, one representing me. And then if they're representing me, they just tell the homeowner, hey, okay, so if I take my hat off of being your representative and not being your representative, just going representing the buyer, this is what we can do. And then the cash offer comes out.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that works a ton for you.
Yeah, it's not bad. It just takes a little bit of building up in the future because a lot of agents, you go to school and, they teach you at real estate school, they show you all sorts of state regulations, national regulations and all that stuff. And it's just the requirement that they have to push because they're a school. But in all reality, it's your business, your real estate business.
Mm-hmm.
I just one thing on the realtor thing, because I was a realtor up in New York. And I mean, unless you're, 20 years in the business and you're like kind of like an associate broker, it's kind of even if you do double close, it'll still be kind of like a push because if you're a new realtor, your broker is still going to want a certain percentage from you when you close that deal anyway, just being under the brokerage.
Oh yeah. You can actually, and then you can work those all out with the broker. When I talk to brokers, I'm like, I tell them straight out, hey, I'm more wholesaling than anything else. I don't do retail, not interested in retail, and then we work out the logistics from there.
Okay. Nice.
I
know a lot of agents that don't even deal retail and they deal wholesale.
Yeah, they just like it. If I ever did it, I'll probably just worry about that. Like I'm not like, because not many agents want to deal with that stuff. There's
To me, it's too much work. I don't want to drive around, show somebody 20 houses for them to not get approved on a loan. And no, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, you rather deal with the houses that might not even pass inspection. You either you want to deal with the the smoke infested homes, the pet infested homes.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the money's at, right? But
yeah.
I mean, eventually, I think it's going to be a point where eventually, where it's going to be more beneficial getting a license. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, at some point, but I'm not ready for it yet. Not ready. Let's see. Any other questions, guys? Anything else you guys got going on?
Question. So isn't it easier just to find the home that the investor's looking for?
Yeah, if you want to work, I do that all the time. So like if I know like a certain amount, like a handful of my investors are looking for homes in different cities, I would pursue those types of cities. So I want to know where they're, what they're buying, where they're buying it at, and go from there. And then you just market towards that. And you should be able to, let's say I have 5 buyers that I know that bought from me before that are looking for homes in in a 10-mile radius of whatever zip code. And they want the home to be at least built before or built after 1960. Then I'll put in my filters, all those types of things, and pull a list together and call that list and see if I get anything. So then I know when I do get something, I have 5 potential people that would want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's basically a better way to build your list, right? Just to ask around, hey, I'm a wholesaler. I just want to know what you're looking for and see if I can help you out.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that in the in Facebook groups too. Just ask around hey, what like, I don't know, you could always ask like, oh, where are you guys buying? Like what in let's say I'm in Pinellas County. So like, what neighborhoods are you guys buying in Pinellas County? Like asking like a Facebook group for with all the investors in it and stuff, and then see what type of responses that you get and then go after it that way. So, I mean, I would say first for you, if you're starting out, if you're a little newer, I mean, it's definitely good to join a Facebook group and ask in the Facebook group what people are looking for. I mean, that's probably your best bet. And then just, you could you could get your leads online on Zillow, or you could get your leads off market, driving for dollars, sending like a text blasts out, with those types of platforms, using PropStream, using PropWire, using batch leads, that sort of thing.
Like another good thing is like if you just start in your local area, obviously you know it a little bit more. But if you go to like meetup groups and stuff like that, I mean, there are buyers and sellers at that place, every month. So you can they bounce ideas off each other, and they bounce deals off each other as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's been like a year since I last went to a meetup. No, actually, well, the last meetup I went to was something that me and Eric hosted, but I mean, it was still, we had like 30 to 40 people turn out. Sorry. In that, we had it in Tampa, and it was, it was pretty good turnout. And, you meet anybody, you meet agents, you meet other, wholesalers, you meet, potential buyers. So it's always good, to go to meetups. I got to start going back to them, and you could meet lenders as well, private money, hard money lenders. So that's the best way. Just go in there for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, obviously you're having small talk and stuff like that, but they're all going to have the same mindset as you, everyone has the same goal to, in that real estate game. So, it's a good benefit for somebody to go.
Yeah, I got a jet. I'll talk to you later, guys. Terrell, I'll send you what you got. I'm putting in about 5 to 10 offers a day, so it's just a matter of time I find something in your neck of the woods.
All right. Sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. Later.
Any other questions, guys? Anything else you guys got going on? It's been a productive Zoom. Hopefully, some people are taking notes, but yeah, you want to make sure you join some investor groups. Meetups are good as well. Starting in your market, so it's always good learning your backyard, and going from there. I mean, my backyard right now is, the St. Pete area. I mean, there's a lot of competition in the St. Pete area, but you're still able to find deals if you look well enough. It could be right under your nose. You don't even know. You could always reach out to foreclosure leads as well. Those are I always tell people to suggest going that route, because the seller has to do something. They can't just sit around and do nothing, because the bank's going to take the property. So if it's in a pre-foreclosure, it's definitely something you want to focus on, and hopefully you'll be able to make a seller, help the seller out so they could walk away with at least something in their pocket, and not to have the bank take on the property from them. Any other questions, guys? Sorry for the noise. I have landscaping next door. So I don't know how loud that is.
When are you guys putting together the next meetup?
Wait 1 second. One more time.
When are you guys putting together the next meetup?
God, hold on. They're about to pass now. I can't even. Oh, it's so frustrating. All right. What? No, not yet. Pick the worst time to show up here. I don't know if you want to put it in the chat. I can't really. I think they're going at the start of the, okay, all right, now I could hear.
When you guys hosting the next meetup?
Oh, next meet. Okay. Yeah, I heard like one of you guys and I just didn't hear anything after. I don't know. I mean, Eric wanted to do one this past summer, but it just never came to fruition. I mean, I gotta text and ask him. But yeah, we should definitely do one. And see, probably at like Armature Works. That's where we did our last meetup. So it's a nice area, the water's right there and stuff like that. So obviously it'd probably be a little bit colder if we do one right now, but maybe start it next year. We do one, but I have to talk to him about that. I'm pretty sure I don't see why he wouldn't be on board with that, but yeah, we gotta discuss about that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know why we didn't. I don't know what happened. Something must have happened where we like because we did talk about doing it this past summer. I don't know what happened. Any other questions? Anything else, guys? No? Let's see. No. No worries. No worries. I guess we'll end the Zoom for today. Sorry about the noise towards the end of the Zoom. If you, I don't know how loud that was on your end, but yeah, my next Zoom will be on Friday, 11 to 12, same time, Eastern Standard Time. If you guys have any questions prior to that, let's say after this or come on Thursday, just reach out to me on Discord. I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. Anything anything you guys are stuck on, any roadblocks you guys have, just let me know. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can and to the best of my abilities. Obviously if I don't know the answer, I'll say I don't know. May have to call Eric or whatever. Because obviously he's been, I think, doing it for like almost 10 years now, 9 years. I've only been in the game for 3, so obviously he has some more experience than I do with different things. But I mean, I learned a lot from him. Because learn from the mistakes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you guys have a good rest of your Wednesday. We'll talk soon. Kill the day, guys. Kill the day.
I mean, take it easy. Thanks.
Take care.
Yep.